And welcome back everyone to the LEC Summer Group Stage, where it's time for G2 Esports versus Team BDS. So first reminder of the stakes, both teams locked in season finals. G2 is now locked in the upper bracket, playing for seeding. And I want you guys to reflect on how both teams have been playing so far. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that, we were kind of talking about it in the first game between the series we just had as well. And it was really just about how a top lane recently has been attacked. Both series that BDS and G2 had separately, BrokenBlade and Adam got camped a lot. I know BrokenBlade was frustrated that he counted how many times he got ganked in this series. It was like 11 times by Malrang. He went back and he was like, why does he keep coming top? Adam as well, in the regard, kept getting focused by Yankers, even maybe too much sometimes when they're playing into the on. But it's just kind of to set it, where will the pressure be in a matchup like this? I think if you're looking at G2, with BrokenBlade, there's a bit more flexibility around. Maybe the Yike is the kind of jungler that wants to give him that jungle attention if they want to shut down Adam as well, because that is a valuable strategy that worked in the first game against BDS. Whereas from the side of BDS, the adaptation they had in their game was, instead of sending Sheo up towards the top lane, they want to send Sheo elsewhere on the map with a carry jungler like the Lily. So I'm curious to see what adaptation both teams will make in regards to how the top side will be played out.
And what kind of approach do you want to take? Because that's something the players were saying yesterday. Adam specifically, when it comes to G2, you never know what to expect, both in games and in draft. And Andrew, in that sense, G2 has been doing some cooking on bot lane again with the Alistar for Hansama.
I mean, all year, all split at least, really. From like, I was a huge fan of the Kog'Maw we were seeing earlier in the split as like an answer and like scaling long range into a lot of the meta picks on the last patch. Now with the Kalista coming and playing like aggressively through the bot side of the map, it's like, okay, if we're drafting the Kalista, BrokenBlade, sorry, but he's probably never going to be getting assistance over on the top side. It's when I see this Kalista come in for Hans too, it like just gives me the straight up like Misfits days flashbacks to Hansama and Mickey when they were dominating on these picks towards the bottom side, like the Kalista Thresh, the Kalista Nautilus that we saw was just absolutely been on fire.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's such a day and night, right? Because here's the Kalista one. Earlier we just saw the Kog'Maw, and it's just like, they mastered playing late game in the beginning with the Kog'Maw, how to get it ahead, how to find the bot lane dives, and then they said, well, now we're not going to do that anymore. We're tired of that. We're going to play full early game and just fully send it here. So just the difference of champions and style they've managed to pick out is really good, because it's not just champions you're picking to cheese. Well, maybe the Kalista there can be an argument for it, but the fact is that they're picking champions that fits their way of winning the game through a macro sense of style as well. Like, there's intent behind it, and I'm not saying there wasn't before, but it just feels more, once again, intentional in terms of how they want to play the game and how you want to elevate the playstyle they already had earlier, so it can also match international teams.
It feels like, yeah, exactly. This is something they've been working on, coming back from MSI, getting stomped again at MSI against international teams, and you feel like they're playing more methodical around the map in general. And we're talking about the Kalista, especially played into the Ashe yesterday, for me showcases the confidence G2 is coming up with lately, something BDS should be mindful about maybe.
100%. I think like that's obviously a pick you're going to have to think about on the bot side, but I also wonder like how much like depth do you have around there? Because like if they want to play aggressive stuff in the bot lane, you know there's always going to be like a Draven as an option down there too. Like they can continue to play in similar ways. I feel like all year long they've had, it's changed over the year, but they've had a very clear idea of how they want to play the game, right? Whether it was, and oftentimes like counter meta too, right? Like whether it was at the start of the year playing the Nautilus as opposed to the range supports, playing the carries in the jungle, now in the bot side having much more unique picks. I feel like they've always had a very clear idea, and it's been very strong at countering out a lot of like the meta things coming in. So it doesn't really surprise me to see them come in with a unique and very strong read on a brand new patch.
What do we make of BDS though? Because coming into the best of ones, we saw the team being a bit disjointed, a lot of individual misplays, if I may, losing their sense of playstyle, the one that got them successful in spring. But coming after Team Heretics yesterday, I felt like they found their groove again. And especially when I think of Nuke on the mid lane with an amazing Jayce.
I think this team just showed really good adaptation as well in a series. I think Nuke really stepped up yesterday, specifically on the Jayce, to help out the team to just find an insane amount of damage in team fights, find an insane amount of priority to play around with the specific pick. And it was just a new style of him that we saw, because in spring and earlier, he was so known for all the control mages. Now he's bringing out the Jayce instead, so it's just a new sign of life coming out from the BDS mid laner. But I also think just in general, BDS needs best of 3. You can already see it. It's so much better for them for best of 1 because they made good adaptations. As soon as they lost the first game, they knew exactly what it needed to change up, and they did it.
Yeah, I just think it's cool too to see how it can change the composition that's built around it, whether it was like the AP junglers that we saw yesterday or like a Varus on the bot side, a Kai'Sa potentially too. Like there's a lot of really good pairings that can go around this Jayce that will make any Jayce comp feel very fundamentally different to all the other comps we're sort of seeing in the league right now.
And you need to set up this Jayce in the early game, and depending on the composition they choose here, for me, they have to be mindful about the early game especially, and keep track on what Yike is going to be doing, as Adam was telling us yesterday.
Oh, 100%. I think Yike is such a curveball as well recently because he can play the carries. We've seen it with the Kha'Zix, but he can also play the facilitators that really just complements the different style of G2. Earlier seasons, I would actually say that the matchup between Yike and Sheo was so interesting. You know, good old LFL matchup with him, and Sheo was actually matching up really well. But in terms of recent performance from BDS, they haven't really been able to match that. But if the last series is any telling of what their new performance is going to look like, Sheo might be able to elevate himself once again to try and come up here and match Yike in the jungle.
And before watching what's going to happen in the early game, it's time for us to toss to the champion selects as the players are ready on stage.
All right, let's get into it. And before we do, I just want to say welcome to Finn here, as well as Odoamne. Congratulations on the win, and thanks for giving us your brain for the draft.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here to see what G2 has in the cook pot over here.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't burn down the kitchen this time. We do see the Poppy and Rakan ban coming out, and the Draven and Maokai from Team BDS.
The classic Draven ban. Actually feeling very different to the last series we just saw. It seems like there's going to be a lot of things open here initially. The Kai'Sa LeBlanc does get banned away at the end here, but Oda, what do you think they're eyeing first?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite difficult to see or like to think about it because in a meta where Kai'Sa is super OP, these guys are playing Alistar and all of this stuff, you know. So it's a bit iffy to say. But Rell first pick makes a lot of sense with Rakan being banned, especially, and Poppy being out, because Rell has been a power pick ever since we've stopped 13-13.
Yeah, and the Rumble is still open here as well that they could go for. They could pick their AD carry here, like a Kalista Rumble, and try to drop their mid jungle together. Just to set up this insane teamfight comp, kind of like XL did this Saturday.
I mean, Rell Rumble is a quite strong of a combo, but I'm not sure if BB plays Rumble, because I think Adam doesn't play it. I'm quite certain of it, but I don't know if we don't really have a lot of Rumble players over here in EU. I think there's maybe like 2 or 3 of us in LEC so far, so we get to see now. I guess it's prime opportunity for Rumble to be picked here. Kai'Sa got locked in, which is quite an obvious. I'm surprised the BDS didn't go for Kai'Sa themselves, given how strong this champion has been in all the regions.
Do you think that they're just happy to take the Varus into it, sort of like outranging it in lane, and then I mean, I guess the Varus does provide some AP damage in a similar way to the Kai'Sa can next to that Jayce?
Yeah, I mean, the Kai'Sa obviously very strong. The Jax picks surprised me quite a bit, especially because they banned Renekton 1-3.
It makes sense because Adam traditionally has been like this split, and the last year as well, he's been kind of like Darius. Olaf has his signature picks, and he kind of likes them into everything. Right now, Jax kind of makes sense because it's good into both Olaf and Darius.
I remember a Garen game from him last split where he played it into Jax against BB. Actually, just kind of went on a roll. I wonder if he'll try to bring it up for
Jax?
5. Yeah, it was against Jax.
I mean, it makes sense. Garen has always been a good lane counter into Jax, and yeah, I mean, even with Sunderer, you don't really get to do much.
Honestly, if I'm G2, I'd look to ban the Garen, just like to take off the weird stuff, you know, just try to keep it vanilla on the board. Both teams also dropping jungle, which is a bit unexpected on this patch. I feel like I don't see a lot of teams dropping jungle. Usually you see the Sejuanis or Poppies being secured early, but 2 are banned.
I feel like if there was a team to drop jungle, though, it would be kind of G2 in my eyes, with all the weird stuff that Yike can play. Even Sheo has been experimenting with like the Lily and those things.
It kind of makes sense because there's at least 3 OP jungles open. There's Ivern, there's Sejuani, and there's another one that I'm kind of missing right now. But I mean, Yike has been having quite a big champion pool, so I think he's very happy to drop here because it seems like they consider Jax as an OP pick, as a prio pick in this series against BDS, so it makes sense.
It looks like even G2 think the Jayce could be heading towards the top side of the map with that Cassiopeia ban.
No, I think the Cassio ban is because Adam has been playing some Cassio. I think he showed it, or like on his solo queue account.
Okay,
It's been making the solo queue for sure.
That's new tech for me. I like it.
Yeah. So they are quite concerned about Jax into Cassio because it's if you don't know the matchup perfectly, then it's one of those champions. I mean, it's kind of the story of Adam. If you don't know how to play versus his champions, he knows how to play those champions, and you don't know how to play against them. So
And then you look like a fool.
Cassio top
exactly.
lane is just Olaf but ranged, I think,
it's
just
all,
running you
it's all
down.
about AP.
That's crazy, that's crazy.
I wonder what he will go for here. I could see the Garen coming out, or they secure the strongest jungler, which I guess would be Ivern or Sejuani. I haven't really seen too much Ivern on the new patch. Do you think it's strong, Odo?
Yeah, I think it's quite good. We just see it perma-banned pretty much everywhere. At least in our series, it was banned as part of the OP trades that is going on with jungles being so many prior junglers. Because I think there's like 2 or 3.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There's the Garen.
The Garen is here. I mean, I quite like it because Jayce Varus, you kind of outrange them, and the threat is on, or like the incentive is on G2 to start a fight, and Alistar can kind of just tempo the fight, and Garen can just spin around. And yeah, so I think he's quite happy with his role in this composition because the core of the comp makes a lot of sense for BDS right now, and Garen seems to be kind of like a filler pick.
Yeah, I feel like Adam just like fills in with whatever champion he wants to play in the drafts, and you should draft like a strong for bot side.
I mean, it worked, historically for him it works. So yeah, I mean, just let him cook.
I feel like I have to ask you, as you're both top laners, like, can you give me some of the Garen tech here up into the Jax matchup? Apart from spinning?
Usually you see the Ignite flash, and then you see the Stridebreaker rush, and then on Stridebreaker, if you can extend the trade, you can use Ignite and ultimate and almost one-shot him.
I'm curious if he's going for Phase Rush or Conk, because that's completely different playstyles. Personally, I think I would opt for Ignite with Phase Rush, because early game it seems to be kind of like the hardest part of the lane. Your passive will ramp up with levels, and yeah, when you have Phase Rush, it also gives you a lot more maneuverability later on in the trades and in the game, and it kind of unlocks you to do a lot more, because if you have Conquer, you're kind of just very static pick. That's kind of like why Garen has never been meta, because you just see him run at you with his sword, and that's all he can do.
I fully agree. Also with the Phase Rush, you get the Nimbus Cloak for the Ignite. You can actually queue up, Ignite someone, get in Stridebreaker range, and try to run them down.
And we see the Sejuani and the Ivern right now. I think, BDS seems to have a little bit of a weird prio on Sejuani, I would say here. I think, for example, Ivern has a lot more value in both of these team comps. And traditionally, you don't really want to see, a tank into Ivern, because Ivern kind of makes Daisy, puts her out, puts a shield on her, and then Daisy is kind of Sejuani, in terms of like stats.
We have a Lucian mid, I didn't even realize.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, Caps is playing the Lucian mid with Ivern jungle, and they're playing Kai'Sa Rell bot. It completely went over our heads.
Is the Lucian versus Jayce?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, that matchup has been very Lucian favored since the beginning of time.
That's some old school stuff, like MSI 2017. Anyways, we have a game to jump into. BDS versus G2. Let's get into it.
And here we are on to Summoner's Rift. I'm Drakos, joined by Vedius for this wonderful cast.
What's up?
You'll see us shortly. They have to show us just so you know that it's actually us and not an AI recreation of our voice, which would be highly unethical. Anyway, might have an explosive level 1 here. Oh, the Garen's in trouble! That is definitely not the way we want to start. Adam immediately flashing out, 5-man fight on the top side of the box, but it's a first blood in favor of BDS. Baited and outsmarted, one might say, because 5 members of BDS are still standing, and that's 2 bodies. 6 feet under on the side of G2, and the counter-strike won't even connect to finish the kill on Adam.
Okay, we start off the game with a bit of tech, Daniel Drakos. You're familiar with Ivern. You know that when the Q connects, you can go over the wall. So G2's plan there was to take advantage. Yeah, you knew this. And we're going to see it live in action once again. To keep track of the Ivern,
so
Yike here, lands Q, and this means that the whole gang can follow up afterwards. And they think that Adam,
he's being
is
cocky.
isolated.
He thinks it's cocky movement that he's out of
But
that
lo and behold, the boys are here. Flashes away. The chain CC is good. They execute caps initially, and then they get the follow-up kill onto Mikyx. BrokenBlade sees an opportunity here, though. He thinks he can get this kill, but a base comes through just in time, meaning that BDS, 900 gold to start. First blood for Sheo and Crownie. Items already picked up across the board. Fantastic start for the BDS squad.
Be super nice for Crownie and for Sheo. We'll see how much faster jungle clear is going to be overall. Garen
There's a lot of spinning in top lane.
Yeah. See, here's the thing: is this is technically it's the first Garen in a major region in summer, which might be more exciting if I liked Garen. But again, this is a champion.
We're so used to this champ at this point.
It's kind of Adam things, you know. What won't he play is really the better question.
Yeah.
So here we are, phase rush, ignite top Garen. He's going to stay on top of anyone, and it's going to make the game pretty annoying. That said, this history between BB and Adam especially is full of weird picks. BB famously bringing out the Pantheon in previous matchups.
I remember.
Which, you know, had a good game, had a very terrible game. And we'll see what Adam can get done this time around. But, of course, one of the most infuriating things about Garen, if you somehow have not bought this champion, he's like one of the he's like 450 blue essence. So, like,
that, yeah.
I still haven't...
You know, it's one of those things where they changed the scaling based on the difficulty of champions.
Yep.
Garen stayed the same.
Garen stayed the same. Simple champion.
Garen's ego was hurt that day.
Yeah, it was. But, yeah, he's got a little fake Warmogs built in, so you just can't really bully him out of lane.
True. But Jax will try his best. BrokenBlade does have the push in top side. It's really impactful to dive Garen's just because of their lack of teleports that you'll often see. But look at this, roam into mid lane. Are they going to make anything happen? The ward doesn't really garner that much information, but it will be enough.
Sheo coming over the wall straight onto Caps. Caps now trying to dash to safety. Flash out, but he still gets hit anyway. Clean response from Sheo. Nice reaction times.
Very well executed there from Sheo. The ward, just great awareness from Nuke. The collapse now from Labrov. I think this is smart. BDS just be happy with what they've been able to get. 2 kills now under Caps. And Sheo, the beneficiary of both.
Certainly was. I like that they're using their lane power to get something done, but BDS coming in clutch again. Seemingly ready for most of what G2 has prepared for them as Mikyx just absolutely whiffs every ability.
It's not as slow dismounted as he used to be. Still slow, though.
Still slow.
Still slow. Now
Yike
the remount. Here he
They know
comes.
that Yike is here. He's going to flash. He's going to come in anyway. Labrov just waiting for an opportunity to pulverize. Knocking Yike rather back under tower, but Labrov still taking down the push now. Put up. Crownie can't even fire back. He's trying to get the arrow down to finish Yike, but he doesn't quite have the damage. Sheo on the way in. Red buff there as well. Crownie so incredibly low. G2 going to get one uncontested on the bottom side.
So G2 finally get on the board, punish the flashless Alistar, and they're able to find themselves a pick. A bit of disrespect towards Mikyx there, though. They knew that he was dismounted, but you get to see how powerful this champion is after the changes, right? The remount into the flip, into the stun, into the speed at which that collapse happened as well.
Yep.
Made it very difficult for Labrov to really react, and G2 find themselves their first kill. Cap's getting a bit bullied here. I don't think he's actually... Well, I say he hasn't gone back to base yet. He has died twice, so technically he spent more time in base than he has in lane, but...
Okay.
You know...
Sometimes it feels personal, Vedi.
As you know...
Did he say something to you? I just need to understand.
No. Cap's cool. We're cool. We're cool.
Oh, it's fine. It's all right.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a lot of action mid, isn't there? Labrov already here.
Center of attention. And honestly, makes a lot of sense to see what they can get done here. Root's going to connect, and that's surely got to be an easy kill. Nuke getting cut down by Airy, just flying through the air. Little spirit cat. Labrov now running 2. Mikyx going to walk away from that one. G2 putting so much attention. Mikyx and Yike pairing up incredibly well in this early game to try and match BDS.
The first thing I was going to ask you coming into this game, Drakos, so you're happy to see these playmaking supports, especially in the hands of players like this. Mikyx and Labrov, known for their agency and their playmaking, already having massive impact on the map. And these Rell changes, wow, so impactful. I wasn't convinced when I read the changes, but seeing them in action, seeing them across the world, Rell in the hands of a player like Mikyx, he's getting work done.
Yeah, and I think for Labrov at this stage of the game, you know, once you get level 6, Alistar's going to feel a lot better once you get out of the laning phase. But when you've got an Ivern standing behind that Rell, and you can get the initial CC down, Alistar just doesn't have the health bar, doesn't have the time yet to kind of disengage in those scenarios. BrokenBlade getting pushed in on the top side, but staying relatively even in CS. BrokenBlade very consistently over the last few days going for this Jax. You know, I think just in general absorbing a ton of pressure as we see an engage coming through now, running for his life, all ticking. Ignite, burning, 23 HP, he's gonna get the job done.
The calculations were good there from Adam. A bit of assistance from Sheo was all he needed. And they find a kill onto BrokenBlade. Now Yike looking for a play bot.
Nice response from Labrov. Immediately throws down the pole. Long cooldown now, only the headbutt left, but Jayce coming in from behind Yike right now. Nuke setting his sights on the bottom side of the map.
Okay, so action back and forth. BDS, though, making plays in the early game. Sheo was...
Labrov. Here we go. Pull. Level 5 to level 3, though, a little bit awkward here. Crownie starting to step forward, but Yike's still in the area. Labrov may have overstayed his welcome. Caps coming in on the backside as well. BDS have horribly miscalculated on the bottom side. 2 easy kills picked up for G2.
What is going on in this game? A massive overstep from Crownie and Labrov. They thought that with the low HP bars of Summer and Mikyx, they could get so much more, but Yike was in the vicinity, and he's quickly there to assist. Mikyx transforms, or remounts, I should say. Crownie and Labrov with their HP advantage say we can fight this, but they don't even recognize that Caps is already on the rotation down. 4 versus 2. This is easy cleanup for G2, and Caps finally gets his first kill of the game. Yep. He's been attacked a lot in the early game, but finally he can reap some of the rewards. And look at all of a sudden these gold swings. 500 gold lead for Caps, 300 gold lead for Summer, 500 gold lead for Mikyx. The bot side of the map doing work right now for G2.
I think so. And if you're looking at the opposite side for BDS, obviously a bit of struggle. Adam doing well on the top side, but I want to shift your attention to the mid lane because Nuke on Jayce yesterday was a monster. He's getting the pick once again into his hands. Stellar performances. G2 put a lot of effort into shutting him down already. Still getting lane prio here, but this is a player I need to track today because on the champion pool of Nuke, I was very used to Azir. I was used to Cassio, a little Orianna from Spring. Jayce was not on my radar, but he showed yesterday he can be a massive threat.
BrokenBlade gonna pop the ult there, but yeah. Clearly the Lucian coming in as an answer. We heard the pros on the desk talking about how this is an old school counter. You know, in the top lane we used to see Lucian into Jayce all the time. G2 bringing it out into mid lane to answer Nuke's Jayce. And so far we haven't gotten to see much of the isolated matchup because there's been so much involvement from everyone else on the map.
Yeah.
But credit to Sheo, of course. He's done a lot of work and assistance here. He had a strong performance yesterday. He's looking to replicate that again today.
Yeah, and again, we get excited about the lanes very often when it comes to talking about these teams, but both Yike and Sheo, 100% kill participation thus far. If there is a fight happening, they have been a part of it. Labrov now going for the engage, the immediate falls. You see the cleanse, not enough. The stun still coming through, but Summer manages to make it back under the tower. Caps on the backside with the Cullen. He's going to find Crownie. He's looking for the follow-up onto Sheo. A flash out from Sejuani, but Caps isn't done. Sheo just barely able to arch it, assault out to safety. Now the flash over the wall, the immediate follow-up as Rell remounts, and Labrov might find himself in trouble. Not able to take the highway out in the form of Caps. He's desperately trying to get back over the wall, but he does not have the angle. Yike on a killing spree as G2 dominate their bottom side jungle.
The idea is good there from BDS, but the execution fumbles. Mikyx doing what he can to provide CC in the exchange. But Crownie ended up getting that tower aggro, which just made the play so difficult. Yike now looking for the root.
Walking in, trying to get the slowdown first, immediately gets the follow-up root, and an easy kill.
Yike is on a rampage.
I'm not used to seeing an Ivern with this many kills.
Wow, okay, Yike is on a tear right now. I wanted to credit Sheo for his impact in the early game, but Yike is responding in kind. Have a look at this. So Crownie gets the tower aggro here, throws the ultimate down, gets the tower aggro right now, forced to flash early, so he's already lost half his HP. This then makes it very easy for Caps and Mikyx to get the re-engage. Sheo gets left isolated. Caps can't overcommit to the kill anymore. He doesn't have any dashes left. But Mikyx, knowing that he still has his flash up, sees an opportunity, and they get themselves another kill. Unfortunately for Caps, he doesn't grab it, but Mikyx already back in the thick of it.
Getting aggressive. Again, the slows coming through, courtesy of that Keystone. Now the follow-up as Yike looks to find the turret hit from Daisy. Mikyx gonna grab that kill. Summer just wants one, just give one to Hans, guys. But ultimately, now BDS looking to respond on the top side. BrokenBlade's been the center of attention for many teams over the last days, but we'll make it out to safety this time.
It's a situation that we've seen many times here in Europe where teams will get that slight early game edge against G2, they'll start fighting them, they'll go toe-to-toe, and then it feels like that they overstep one too many times, and then it just snowballs out of control.
Yeah.
These players love playing in the chaos, they love going for these scraps, they're more than happy to fight you because, well, they just love to skill check you, right? Especially a player like Mikyx when he gets his hands on a champion like Rell. You see how active he is on the map. 7 of the team's 8 kills are at his hands alongside Yike, the jungle support, doing some serious work. Mikyx, he waits, he sees Crownie just trying to push out this wave. The pings are coming down. Crownie thinking, oh, I can clear this, go back to base. Oh, but yeah, he wants to drop that ward, and that ward will be his undoing.
Yep, and at this point with the slow already down, another slow coming in from the Ivern shield. Easy kill pickup for the side of G2. It was neck and neck. Actually, it was BDS ahead in the first few minutes, but now neck and neck, and G2 with a massive gold lead. How quickly this game has turned on its head, but BDS looking to make a response play in the mid lane of their own. Only level 5 for Labrov still. This has got to be frustrating. Alistar desperately needs that level 6.
He does. Right now, he's moved over to the mid lane. Something we're going to be seeing a lot more these days as well is, due to the introduction of way more static Shiv AD carries, hang on, I'll hold my breath, Mikyx.
Stun, trying to force out the ultimate earlier. Meanwhile, on the top side, Caps. Oh, he's not respected the Garen. Has to teach him the hard way. You do not walk into a brush with the Garen in it. Adam finds a quick kill on the top side. BrokenBlade now coming in, but nuking Adam both in the area means there's no play to be had. In the river fight in front of us, Labrov on the retreat, Sheo on the retreat, Crownie over the wall, no ultimate. Actually, can't tell if he has an ultimate. Figure that one out. I think no ultimate. Maybe.
Drakos.
There's no picture there.
It's a song that they sing when you're young. What? Spin to win, okay? You spin
and then
to
you
win, right? How can Caps not respect that?
It's...
We have to remind... Veteran.
You gotta remember, he's still a young gun.
He is a young gun.
Us boomers of League of Legends.
Season 1 oldies.
Do you remember the Garen rule? This is how someone taught me map awareness.
Yeah.
If you can't see in the bush, there's a Garen in the bush.
There's a Garen in the bush.
That's the rule.
That's an old school one, man. These youngins, they don't know.
Yeah, if you can't see the Garen, he's
well, hopefully he's
everywhere.
learned now.
He's
learned. As you rightly said.
Yes.
Adam had to teach him the hard way.
Do you think it's fair that we're being condescending to a player who's achieved more than either of us ever will? I don't know.
Who knows? He can't talk back. Sheo forcing the ult out from Hansama.
BrokenBlade's got a great angle here, but obviously the Labrov waiting with a headbutt. It's much harder to pull these things off. Siege coming through. Vision and that Ivern brush going to keep it standing for quite some time.
The Ivern brush is so annoying to deal with.
BrokenBlade again looking for the angle. Labrov has to be careful here. Daisy called out. Looking for an MVP. Oh! Instantly finds the engage. Labrov tries to disengage Caps, but I don't think it's going to matter. Crownie on the backside holding onto his life for as long as possible, but the Jack's already tearing through that health bar. Labrov taken out of the equation as well. G2 obliterating BDS in the fight. This Rell is looking so damn OP. Paired along the Ivern, they just cannot be stopped. G2 barreling into the mid lane. They get the Drake. They're setting their sights on the tier 1 tower. A 4K gold lead 14 minutes into this game.
Well, this is the crazy thing. Even in all of that chaos, Sheo still secured the dragon.
Oh,
it was
right.
BDS that walked away with the Drake, but G2 walk away with the kills. We'll look back and see how Sheo actually got that steal. But BDS starting off the dragon themselves. Mikyx flashes in, doesn't connect the stun, lands 5-man Rell. A good smite comes out from Sheo, but the chain CC means that there is nothing that BDS can do. Mikyx does die on the backline, but he's keeping 3 members busy as G2 just bulldoze their way through the fight. The slow from the Ivern, shield exploding onto Adam means that the chase can come through. Kill gets handed over, and G2 walk away with 3 kills.
Ultimately, a very strong fight for G2. You can see the gold difference continuing to add up, but well highlighted. The BDS still playing for soul points, still an angle ocean against a team like this would be massive, especially against that initial up front engage. That said, there's also an Ivern with Medjais in this game.
Wait, Ivern did 1,000 damage?
That was a weird fight.
He did as much damage as Varus did. I mean, credit to Crownie. Even in all that chaos, he was able to dish out what he could. But what an engage from Mikyx. This man is just playing like a monster right now.
I mean, it's so frustrating for Labrov, too, because Mikyx starts that engage off, and then mid-leap, he's able to cast the ultimate to stop any potential follow-up from Labrov. He's already landed all that CC, so Labrov feels like his only option is to go on to Caps. I think it's tricky when you're the Alistar in this context. It feels like you always have to be the one reacting, and if you make a mistake, Rell just gets so much more value.
I mean, this is the thing. Alistar as a champion is supposed to be that person that kind of nullifies Rell, right? Because you can just interrupt her engage, but then your whole focus needs to be on reacting to Mikyx. And so far, Labrov hasn't been able to do that, which means that G2 find themselves with a 5K gold lead 16 minutes in.
And we've seen this play before. You know, with so much of the strategy you saw from Team Heretics yesterday, the last strong point on the map for BDS is Adam on the top side. 3 members now here to try and shut him down.
He's just going to spin his way through the minions. He's going to be just fine.
How does he not have motion sickness? Nobody knows.
He's been spinning his whole life, man.
He's violently ill all the time.
I mean, I've heard that, like, You can be spun right round,
No,
baby, right round.
no, don't. Why are
No,
you
you-
like this?
I love that song.
Medic, tell me, what do I do? What's the secret? How do I just smile and laugh?
When I used to-
great 80s song reference and/or Pitbull reference. Vedius, lovely.
Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy. That's what I'm all about. Metaphors.
That wasn't. You just say words. You don't even.
Dragon spawning in about a minute, 44 seconds.
And 2 items on the carries of G2 right now. A bit concerning. Nuke has a single item. He's a bit behind. The tier's not stacking up either. The damage just isn't really there yet for the side of BDS, which is tough because they do have a lot of upfront engage tools. They just don't really have the immediate damage to force reliable picks right now without Adam as a part of the equation.
That's a fast horse.
Is indeed. Herald now coming down. BDS, are they going to stick around or are they going to concede the tower? Adam, that's the stun connecting.
Oh,
Labrov just getting deleted. Now walking away. Ulti procced. Herald charge coming in. Crownie on the backside. BDS, there's not really a fight to be had here. Adam just going to delete Daisy, though. That felt personal. Meanwhile, the mid lane Caps going to take down the tier 2. BDS over-committing on the top side, praying that G2 would slip up, stumble, make some kind of mistake. But the cost for them committing so many resources is their tier 2 in the mid lane. They need to force a fight right now, or they have wasted so much time and money just to be here.
Caps is on his way. Actually, no, is he making his way towards the bot? Yeah, he's just going to take all the bot camps. Everything is open season for Caps. All of these jungle camps free for the taking. And the rest of G2 going to back away. They've gotten what they wanted. The tier 1 in the top lane. They got the tier 2 in mid. More than happy with that trade. And BDS, they just reacted to try and defend the top side of the map. They left the rest of the map exposed. And like we're at a point where G2 is just very quickly snowballing this game out of control. They already did a great job finding those early kills, kind of regaining control over the game after what was a couple of great plays from Sheo in the early game, and some good reads from that level 1 especially, but
yeah,
full control now for G2. The next objective will be this Dragon. They push out mid, they push out bot. Caps does need to back, but it's fine, he has the TP. Pings are coming down into the Dragon. They should be willing to cross-map this. BrokenBlade also has the TP, so they can send him top. You actually see Caps hovering around there. Was Caps going to head top lane? Okay. No, he's going to head back towards mid, all right.
I think the big thing for BDS now is that they're at such a massive deficit that it's really hard to make plays. The stakes are getting higher and higher. Or 19 minutes, G2 could absolutely, with an Ivern, consider a 20-minute Baron with double AD threats with 2.5 items on their carries. So if they make another mistake, it's most likely a Baron for G2. And more than that, even if they see a window of opportunity, those windows are smaller than ever. Not just because of the gold lead, but because we now see a Mikyx on the Ivern. There's Cleanse up for Han Sama. They don't really have a lot to their name right now, but maybe they can just delete Mickey. Every bush has got a Garen in it, and sometimes an entire team. Mickey learning the lesson the hard way.
Every bush has a Garen in it, Drakos. And to no one's surprise, Adam finds a way. He found a pick. Now his team should be able to convert this into the tier 1 in mid lane.
This is big, but it might cost them a bit.
But look
more
at the
than they were
side lanes,
anticipating.
yeah.
Yeah, as you highlight, BrokenBlade pushing in top lane, Caps pushing in bottom lane. Caps immediately going to retreat, but someone needs to respond to BrokenBlade on the top side of the map. Good pick from BDS. Buys him a bit more space, buys him a bit more time here. Baron just now spawning. 4 minutes till the next Drake. They weren't able to grab the third, so it's quite some time till they can really threaten a soul. Han Sama, does he want?
He was thinking about it.
Aggressive.
He's still thinking about it.
Oh my god, this is mean.
He's thinking about it.
Isn't it nice that that item just gives you enough AP that you can...
Isn't Kai'Sa just really fun?
Do
Do you remember Italy Spears? Do you remember them?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember that they nerfed those things?
Yeah, I do.
Because of this?
Yeah. But you have to hit these to keep spamming them, so... Now Mikyx going to go for the engage onto Adam, trying to delete Han Sama. Instantly goes on top of Crownie, but maybe Crownie can get no space. Sheo now trying to come in. Crownie taken out of the equation, but is it enough to win the fight? No, because G2 have another AD carry on the way. And Jax diving in as well as Cap starts to shred through that health bar. Labrov, so much damage reduction, but it's just not enough. He's getting cold, he's getting cut down. Nuke off to the side. Can he turn the fight back? The counter-strike coming through the Mikyx to deny any potential CC. G2 obliterating BDS again on the top side of the map.
AD carry traded for AD carry, and the rest of G2, knowing the Nuke isn't quite in the fight yet, chase BDS down. They secure 3 kills, and they're going to look for a 21-minute Baron.
We talked about it. These were the stakes with G2 building this kind of lead. Baron was always going to be on the table if they could find it. But Nuke now looking for an angle, immediately going on to Mikyx, just going to get pulled back. His Caps just continues to free fire. Guns a-blazing. Sheo, no flash. So much CC to stop him. No vision in the pit. There's just got to be no way he can get this one, but it's taking so much time. They don't have a lot of members doing damage. Instead, they're going to turn. They're going to leap out of the pit. Take down one. Crownie's going to be in trouble now, too. Crownie just trying to continue to keep the auto attack going. Labrov needs to land the stun. Caps locked up for a brief moment. He's trying to finish him. Crownie gets the 1-for-1, but the Baron is still the focus, and it's finally going to get finished by the side of G2. 2 members will get the buff.
I mean, that's one of the best case scenarios for BDS, as G2, they just greed for kills. 3 members over the wall, you can understand. Well, actually, this is the initial fight. They force the flash out from Crownie. Summer dives onto the backline, and he ends up trading his life for Crownie's. But it's still a 4v3 in favor of G2, so they feel confident enough to chase this one down. Ideally, they want to be able to get more kills before they can really force the Baron, so it makes a lot of sense. When Nuke joins the fray, Labrov goes for a last-ditch re-engage so that he can set up his mid laner. Fortunately for Nuke, he doesn't quite have the damage. The stun comes up to Adam, which means that he can't really do much else, and after Sheo flashes away, G2 see this as a window to start the Baron. Makes a lot of sense. The base comes in from BrokenBlade, he then chooses to TP back into base, Nuke loses his life. Should be a free Baron. Should be.
Should have been.
But it was.
Ultimately able to kill a couple of those members there. Well played by Crownie to trade. Gets the shutdown too, so that much closer to a 3rd item. Looks like he might be going for Crown, just to stop that upfront burst damage that can come out from the side of G2. Keep track of that as we get later into the game.
Now as we cool down, it is important to remind everyone that both of these teams are locked to season finals.
Yep.
Now, some people have been confused by this. We have the top 4 summer final, which is the playoffs.
The end of this split.
The end of this split is our playoffs. Neither of these teams yet have qualified for that. The winner of this will do that. They'll join XL in the upper bracket of our playoffs. That's where the best of 5s kick off. Regardless of the performance of either of these teams, though, they will lock in our season final, which happens after summer. A couple weeks after summer, where
like
6 teams will qualify for the season finals.
Crown coming in for Crownie. Little namesake there. Important to note the difference is see both teams poking and prodding, fishing for an angle to get something done. Seeding, though, still very important for that season finals. Reminder, if you are able to secure a top 4 seeding, as G2 have already done, you have the luxury of double elimination, while 5 and 6 will be sent down to the lower bracket at the beginning. And yeah, TLDR, go to season finals. Good, both these teams are already making it. If you want to qualify for Worlds, you need to get top 4 in season finals. Which you cannot get, you have to win a best of 5 to go to Worlds. Good
Basically,
news.
yep.
For all those who have been upset at certain teams qualifying in the past. They have to win a best of 5 to go to Worlds.
And Mikyx on a ward.
He has been spotted completely, now gonna leap out to safety, and immediately he makes the engage work anyway. BDS potentially overcommitting, but now Caps caught out and cut down. Yike coming in over the wall. BDS favored in the fight. Bit of sloppy play from Mickey, the fall from Caps, overconfident there, but now BrokenBlade's gonna leap in and find 2 with the stun. Crownie's still untouched on the backside, but they just got too much damage. Too many members barreling down on the bars as Sama gets the double. Looking for the follow-up, looking to make it 3. BrokenBlade taking that away, it's a double-double, and G2 could just look to push down mid.
It's a beautiful re-engage from BrokenBlade. He lands a 3-man stun. The ultimate from Sama to follow up means that BDS are wiped off the map. I don't know if G2 can end just here, but they're definitely looking for an inhibitor.
Shutting through that one, Labrov hovering in the area.
Can he keep the minions away? 10 seconds? No. I think they're pushing it.
Am I gonna take the risk?
They have TP on Caps.
Coming through, 1 tower down, minion wave still there, just continuing to stack up. Crownie's up and alive. This is where I think you need to start to be a little bit more worried. G2 patient in the end. Will back away, knowing that they're still heavily favored. It's a massive, massive gold lead. And for BDS, you can hold on to hope for this game if there's enough time, if G2 make mistakes, but otherwise you really got to be thinking ahead. What can you change for game 2? What can you do differently? As this one feels just about over.
G2 are going to convert this into the Ocean Dragon. No soul threat for now, so BDS don't have to overcommit to this objective. Maybe they can catch some retreating G2 members though, or could Adam be caught?
Adam trying to zoom out of safety. They wait for the snapsy to fade from the empowered W. Adam just gets picked off. Crownie in the top side jungle has not been spotted out, but G2 are already going to start to keep the pressure mounting as they push forward. Sama can just continue to spam these Void Seekers as long as he lands them. That one won't connect, buys a bit more time, but Daisy there to tank the tower, actually fading away. And G2 are going to have to back off for at least a brief moment.
BrokenBlade does have the TP. He's pushing in top lane right now. But of course, 4v4, G2 are happy to take their time here. I imagine that G2 are actually sitting on a lot of gold, but the TP will come through.
Really trying to break open that second inhibitor. Could look to end here if BDS misstep, but shouldn't be powerful enough to just bully their way in without a BDS misstep.
Okay, so G2, they're going to take their time, but 26.5 minutes. This game is basically done and dusted. G2 looking to send a message here in this game. The way that they were able to build that early game lead and the way that they've so aggressively accelerated the game just shows that they really are a cut above here in the LEC. Just the
What? You laughing at the 25 stack Ivern?
No! I said they're a cut above the LEC and then Caps dashes into a wall. It's just comedic timing.
The duality of man.
Yeah.
He's simultaneously an incredible talent, also doesn't know about the Garen and the brush rule. What do you want? Okay, not spotted.
Oh, he should be fine.
Genius. Cast him in Ocean 17 or whatever we're on. Man can pull off a heist.
Able to get away with his life. Labrov looking for something.
He's level 10. This is so frustrating. He doesn't even have a second point ultimate.
Oh, Baron's up, but I don't think G2 should care about Baron. I think they can just play for top tower.
I think if BDS try to put any more resources into contesting Baron, G2 just end the game. Looking for a pick on Mikyx to kick things off. Sheo with a bit of poke. Adam not able to enter the fight. Crownie on the backside, but here comes BrokenBlade. Gonna look to find a multi-man stun. Labrov tries to push him away, but Bonsam is already in the back line, shredding through health bars left and right. The second AD carry comes over the wall. Just to add insult to injury, only Mikyx will be taken out as Adam runs for the hills. G2 coming down mid lane. They had the gold lead. They outplayed. Now they'll secure the win. Game 1 in this best of 3. Going in favor of G2 Esports.
A very one-sided affair. The level 1 was thwarted by BDS. But following that incident, G2 found pick after pick after pick. So much credit needs to be given to the jungle support this game.
Yep.
Yike and Mikyx absolutely dominated the early game. They were so crucial to G2's success. And even though Caps, he was bullied hard in the early game, you could see the threat that he was putting up in a side lane later on. Like, the way that they played the split map was clean.
And I think, gotta give credit to BDS for Sheo, especially for some of those early plays, but when Caps was able to collapse bot side, when Labrov and Crownie overextended there, that felt like the beginning of the end in terms of G2 seizing momentum back. Because if you remember, level 1 was so incredibly BDS favored, but they weren't able to keep that momentum going. So credit to G2 for turning it around, and hope that we see more of what we saw in those first few minutes from BDS as we get later into the series. For now, though, let's send it over to the desk with Guldborg and Odoamne.
And Laure.
And Laure.
Yeah,
It just said...
and me. I'm here as well. Hi, hi, Odo. Thank you
Hello.
for joining us. We heard you earlier, but yeah, viewers can see you now. That was brutal on the side of G2. From the composition.
Like, honestly, from the early game, it looked rough for G2. You know, they come in with this really cool level 1 strategy, and BDS has just read them immediately, like a book, up towards that top side with the kills that they had. But then it's like, nature kind of starts healing as well in terms of G2 with the Ivern pick, and they kind of start finding picks to come back into it. And G2, when they start running away with some of the objectives, they just become so difficult to play against. They're so ruthless with their tempo.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great amount of tools this game. I feel like, I don't know how it happened that they get 3 first picks on blue side in that sense, because Ivern went all the way to 4-5 and pretty much everywhere around the planet. This champion is completely OP, but it's like, they secured so many tools to play that even though they fell behind early game, I mean, losing 3 kills level 1 is not as impactful as it used to be. It's really not that difficult to come back, but they just had a lot of tools to come back into this game. And yeah, I mean, BDS kind of fumbled in that one. I mean, comp was playable, but I still think, yeah, way too much OP stuff.
For sure.
I want to take a closer look at the draft, though. And Odo, if you can tell me what you think about the Garen answer to the Jax. That's not a champion that we've seen in any major region so far. But what are you supposed to do with the champion in lane, and how does it play later on in this composition?
Yeah, I mean, Garen kind of made sense in this comp because on paper you have Jayce, Varus with Alistar, so you kind of want to play disengage, stop their engage, kind of keep them at bay, and Garen kind of gets to play the Joker card where he's kind of free to do whatever he wants. But early game is not really that easy for him, especially if he wants to run the Ignite, because he's going to be stuck without TP, and I think BB took great advantage of it with his TP timer to get the Sheen, but then yeah, he just kind of fumbled on the Sejuani gank. But yeah, early game is kind of rough. Jax is known for being super OP early game, getting prior, setting up plays if he likes to. But from like level 7, 8, 9 onwards, Jax kind of runs out of juice and Garen can just auto-sustain him. Because you don't need to fight back. You just start spinning your sword whenever Jax wants to fight you. And then at some point, you're just going to ignite and ult someone and kill, or ignite and ult the Jax at like 60% HP and he will die. So it's not really rocket science. You just need to get through the early game to, if you make it to level 5 or level 7 even, you're kind of golden.
Super skilled gameplay. Similarly to Ivern, actually, which is an interesting jungler, but we saw it on the hand of Drakos yesterday. Didn't quite work that well. But we've talked about how BDS should be mindful about how Yike is playing in the early game. So Guldborg, talk me through what you thought of G2's approach here and the tree in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Yike was on fire in the early game. I mean, actually, pretty much both junglers were on fire. They both had 100 KP in the early game and was the one making the plays for their team to rally behind. And I think at first I was really impressed with BDS, but then Yike just shot back and he was everywhere. We're making a play on bot, we're getting priority. Now my support has tempo advantage over enemy support. We will now roam together, we will get mid ahead. And he just was like ruthless, just watching him flash forward here. Doesn't even have to throw the Q first. Can bait out nuke knowing he doesn't have the flash. And I think he was just everywhere on the map that BDS did not want him to be.
I really appreciate the approach of, again, Ivern plus double AD. I didn't think Lucian could have a spot here. Any thoughts on the champion and its situation in the G2 draft?
Yeah, usually we see the Tristana picked early and the Jayce is the answer. And if I'm not mistaken, Tristana was open in this draft, but it's not a good pick into. Usually Jayce is the counter pick in that one. And I think although it's playable, G2 managed to find an even better pick with the Lucian, because you kind of have the same tools that you want. You have gap closer on demand whenever you want. You have a winning lane matchup against the Jayce, because usually we see this matchup in the top lane. It doesn't look pretty for the Jayce. On mid, it's probably a little bit more playable given the lane is short. But it fits the team. You know, you want Ivern with someone that can make proactive plays happen, and that's the Lucian for you.
And I feel like it makes for an easier composition to maneuver on the side of G2. And here I want to specifically take a look at the Drake setup fights, GB, and talk us through the engage on the side of G2 and how they managed to take this objective quite easily.
For sure. We were in a situation where BDS actually managed to get the first Drake. So usually we see G2 want to get this ahead from the early game, but they prioritized Herald base this time around instead. And they're quite good at getting some decent early vision. You can see they had the reset advantage. When you look at the minimap, you still see members of BDS coming back from base. So they're going to do the best to be very aggressive with some of the vision that they're getting. But a bit of it is still a little sloppy. Like, you can see right now that Caps is still around the wave, which is good because he's getting the bot priority, but his team has already started up the Drake. When you look at the minimap, BB is also still on the way. Caps is still going to take some time to move if they go for play immediately. And that's what BDS is going to do. Handsummer is going to get caught out here. Luckily, he does have the cleanse, and it makes a little bit of an awkward situation, actually, for both teams. Handsummer doesn't have the cleanse to play around. BDS now doesn't actually have the ultimate of Sejuani. BB is doing a really good job here because he's applying pressure. He can always go out if he wants to. He knows the only one that can engage from him, realistically speaking here, would be Varus or the Alistar, but they're not finding it. And the huge one here is then eventually just gonna be Yike who's gonna call the bluff of the enemy team. He's gonna flash forward to miss his Q of the stun. Doesn't matter. The 5-man ultimate, it is what is huge here, coming in afterwards with the counter-strike. And it's just really playing it back and forth, finding the right moment to strike.
Yeah, I mean, we can see it looks like G2 found their win condition. You know, it's quite telegraphed that Rell needs to find an engage, and the pressure is on BDS, you know, to stop that engage, because we saw Rell flash Q'd, Alistar didn't react to, you know, kind of kick him out and stop the engage, because that's what BDS comp wants to do, and that's also the problem with these compositions where your only tools are to stop the engage, because if you fumble that, you don't really have any ways to win that team fight, because we saw Alistar, he found the next best target to kind of isolate in the fight, and it's the Lucian, but the engage already went through, Jax is in, Kai'Sa is poking and flying in whenever she wants, so it's just like, we got to see why this comp from G2 is just so strong, but also at the same time why this comp from BDS is so hard to execute.
Yeah, really hard to come back when you fall too far behind, and in that sense, I guess G2 got too far ahead. We just had the side selection that we saw here with BDS being on blue side for the next game. What are we looking for for this team in the hopes of coming back?
First of all, either picking up one of these juicy first picks or either banning them away. But it's curious because BDS is one of these teams that strikes me as one of them that don't play all too much of these new picks that we haven't seen from them, right? I could still see them pick up a Rell down towards the bot side as a priority, but when I'm looking at a Rumble, when I'm looking at the Ivern, when I'm looking at the Kai'Sa as well, not really something I've seen just yet. I would love to see it though, but I'm curious to see how the adaptations are going to come in on draft.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if Crownie even plays Kai'Sa, but yeah, it's just... I feel like with the way the draft looked like, even on red side, they had an opportunity to kind of, you know, grab some of those OP picks and make the draft a little bit more balanced because they had a great chance. But now on blue side, I'm curious how they're going to proceed because you're a lot less restricted on blue side with your bans. You can kind of ban flavor and whatever you'd like, and yeah, let's see what they can do this time.
And let's see who you will be facing off against in the next best of 5 series. But that's all for us here now. We'll see if BDS can come back against G2 or if they will wrap up this series and move into best of 5. See you soon.
Oh, anyone might have an explosive level 1 here. Oh, the Garen's in trouble! That is definitely not the way he wanted to start. Adam immediately flashing out. 5-man fight on the top side of the box, but it's a first blood in favor of BDS. Stun, trying to force out the ultimate earlier. Meanwhile, on the outside, Caps. Oh, he's not respecting the Garen! Makes a lot of sense to see what they can get done here. Brood's gonna connect, and that's surely gotta be an easy kill. Nuke getting cut down by Airy, just flying through the air. But Yike still in the area. Labrov may have overstayed his welcome. Caps coming into the backside as well. BDS have horribly miscalculated on the bottom side. 2 easy kills picked up for G2.
Look at this guy. Shield. Hey, looks good. Looks nice, yeah. Varus no flash. It's a Jayce clutch. Can you end mid? Hey, go on him. Can you end mid, actually? Nice!